good evening, and welcome to the one-man show that is the Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast. I'm all on with Jack Jones tonight. I'm going to talk about this weekend's fixtures, starting with tonight's game between Man City and Wolves. I've got to look back on what happened against PSG and also look forward to the second leg. And then again, we'll just look at what's going to happen and what do Arsenal need from this game against Bournemouth. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Hello, good evening. Look at me, all on my own. Big fat Trev in the studio here. Fergus has got here his daughter's wedding this weekend, so all the very best to Fergus. The other lads all doing other things, so I thought, do I not do the show, or do I just have a go on my own? So here we go, all on my own. I'm going to do it. I'll try and put the comments up. I am reading the comments, but I'm trying to multitask as well. Never done this before, so please bear with me. I want to look back, first of all, guys, at the game against PSG at the Emirates. I mean, yeah, I thought we'd beat PSG easy, if I'm honest. I didn't expect PSG to be that good. Keep your comments coming, by the way. They'll be helpful. Keep me ticking over. Yeah, I didn't think PSG would be that good. I honestly didn't. And I didn't think Donnarumma was that good. The goalkeeper, I thought he had a fine game. Although when he dived at that corner when no one was near him and the referee gave him a free kick, was absolutely atrocious in my view. Absolutely atrocious. But before the game, all the talk was about, how many we'd win by really, but also about the atmosphere and about wanting to generate a massive atmosphere at the Emirates, yeah? And we're going to talk about this at length between the four of us on Monday, so I'm only going to brush over it. But before the game, on that concourse, I've never heard it so loud. And when we first went into the ground before kickoff, the Emirates was bouncing more than I have ever heard it. It was like amazing. And then, what do all teams that are visiting an away ground, what do they try and do? We say it all the time, right? We say it all the time. Got to try and silence the crowd. Got to try and silence their noisy crowd. Got to bring them down and make it a level playing field. And do you know what? From my perspective, right, that's exactly what PSG did to us. They came out firing on all cylinders, looked really, really good, scored the early goal, and then for the next 25 minutes, just press us, and we didn't have a look in. We didn't have a look in at all. And I think, to be honest, that would silence any crowd. It really would silence any crowd. It was just, to be honest, they were breathtakingly good, PSG. What fills me full of hope is that I don't think they can be that good again. I really don't. They've got a habit of losing at home, so full of hope for next week still. Talking about the atmosphere brings me on to one of my good friend Dan Gunny. We all know Dan from here. He talks about he wants to have a singing section, and so do lots of people, the importance, right? And I think the game against PSG really highlighted how a singing section helps stadium atmospheres, right? Because a prime example, before the game away at Real, we went to watch Atletico Madrid on the Monday night, right? And there was noise in the stadium all game, right? But all the noise for most of the game was coming from the singing section. They have a small singing section at Atletico. them fans dance and bounce all night. So even when the rest of the stadium goes quiet, like it did at the Emirates when PSG were really good, that little crowd of singers keep the noise up, keep the atmosphere up, and keep the players lifted, I dare say, you know. So I think that really, for me, was the biggest proof that we really do need to sort something out. Maybe who we upset, how we do it, I don't have answers, but I really do think that a singing section or an area of the Emirates that was insistent on making noise all game would change the atmosphere. Not all the time, because you know when we scored the disallowed goal, the crowd was so loud again. They wanted to be loud, but they couldn't be loud because they were worried. And a singing section does things differently. The Ashburton Army lads, they try and do it, but there's only about 25 or 30 of them, and they can't do it on their own. So I really do think that it's a massive thing. It's a massive thing, but I really think it's something that the Arsenal should give some consideration to after they've given a bit more consideration to the TIFO, of course, but I'm not going to dwell on that tonight. You see that Jarhead Gooner has mentioned it, right? And I've got it down here. I think that the standard of refereeing games of referees in every game we've played in Europe this year has been very good. I've not had any complaints. Very good. They've been like a breath of fresh air after having, you know, Premier League referees. They have honestly been like a breath of fresh air. But this one the other night against PSG, I know I'm biased. We're all biased. We're Arsenal fans, you know. It wasn't very good. He wasn't very good. I mean, I just mentioned he gave the dive on Donnarumma. When Donnarumma never got touched, Donnarumma dived. He never got touched. And then he gave that, he even booked Saka for what was hardly a touch when Saka would have been through on goal. Donnarumma's had a good game. So all these things I'm saying here are making me even more confident, right? That we can get something at their place. We've got to go to PSG and do it, from my view, and do exactly what PSG did to us. We've got to go there and silence the crowd and score an early goal if we can. And then it's absolutely game on, you know, game on. By the way, while we're talking about the game in PSG, everybody knows that I didn't get a ticket. I wasn't upset that I didn't get a ticket. The credit system worked and it done its job. And I had a few years off of going a few years ago, so people have got more credits than me, and that's fine, right? No problem. Today, out of the blue, I got a phone call from a very good friend of mine who's asked to remain nameless, and I respect that, saying that he could get me a ticket in an executive box or for the game. So, of course, I jumped on it, right? I jumped on it. Of course, I'll come. It's not really my thing, these executive boxes, but I'll go. Yeah, that'll do for me. And I put it on Facebook, and everybody's been really nice, and thank you. Apart from one idiot that decided that I shouldn't have took it. I should have said no. I shouldn't be taking that kind of seat. And yeah, well, he got my response, and that's the end of it. But so yeah, looking forward to PSG, but we're in it. We've got to do exactly what they did to us, and then we've got to go on and win the game, right? Comfortably. Can be done. PSG have blown up before. I'm all over it, desperate for us to get through and make some history. Because Arsenal's a club, I said it the other night, I think. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to keep talking. This is really hard. I said it the other night. The Arsenal's a football club full of history. Proud of the history. Proud of our club's achievements since it was formed in 1886. You know, we've done many. We've moved to Highbury in 1913, and we won our first FA Cup and leagues in the 30s. Wonderful. And there's all that history. There's a history of George Graham in 89. There's a history of Bertie Mee doing the double in 71. You know, there's obviously Arsene. It's full of history, Arsene, you know, in his early years at the club. So any history that you try and make nowadays is normally it's being done for the second time. It's great, but it's the second time Arsenal have done it, or the third time, or the fourth time, or in the case of the FA Cup, the 15th time, you know. But this is different, the Champions League. This is new history. This is fresh history. this is something that the football club, all the great names that have been involved with our wonderful football club, all the people that that have statues, all the people that we love dearly, and history books are full of them, and they're wonderful people, but none of them ever did won the Champions League. It's the last thing, and I think if this squad that we've got can get that in their heads, and Mikel Arteta does his job, I honestly think that we can beat PSG, fingers crossed, and make history. And then we'll have another 15 statues around the Emirates, and we'll all walk by them and smile. But look, right, I'm going to come back. I might look ahead briefly to the second leg, but I've got to go through the games. Fergus has given me orders. I can't talk for too much about PSG, but I must look through this weekend's games. So if you feel like hang on a minute, Jason, I'm hoping so, mate. I'm hoping I get free beer, but if I don't, I won't care, because I'll be in that stadium, you know. I'll be in there watching the club that everyone knows I love dearly. But yeah, so I've got to talk about this weekend's game, starting with tonight's game. If you can put your predictions in the comments, that'd be wonderful. I'll try and flick them on the screen. I've got about 7 things going at once here. You know, I'm a bit nervous, to be honest, but that's so it be. Manchester City v Wolves is first up, right? Manchester City is. Jason, you're putting me off now. You're putting me off. No, hopefully the top won't come off, mate. I've promised it won't come off. But, you know, who knows? Manchester City v Wolves, right, tonight. City have found a bit of form again, haven't they? You know, they've been winning their games and they're pushing in the league. Ideally, we want Wolves to nick a point at least at Man City for our position in the in the final league table to be helped. But I can't see Wolves doing anything against Man City. I've got Man City to beat Wolves 2-1, and I won't be surprised if it's even more than that. If it's even more than 2-1, but you know, we could do with Wolves helping us out. So then Villa v Fulham. Villa v Fulham. It's got the makings of a cracking game for me. Fulham like to play football, but I just think I think Villa will be too strong at home. Villa will be too strong at home. They've got nothing else to play for now. They're out of the cups, so they'll be wanting to do their best in every single league game to finish on a high. And I think that Villa will beat Fulham 2-0. Jason doesn't agree, but you know, you could see it going the other way. In all honesty, you really could. But I think that Villa will beat Fulham 2-0. Listen, the numbers are going up. Surprisingly, the numbers are really going up here. And I thank you all. If anyone's just joining in, you're wondering what the hell's going on, because to be honest, I'm wondering what the hell's going on. My good friend Fergus has got his daughter's wedding tomorrow, so he's obviously very busy tonight. And the other lads have all got things on, and like the Swiss cheese is all lined up, and there's one big hole, and just me has fallen into it. So I'm afraid you're stuck with me. Hopefully you can put up with me. Hopefully I'm not bad at waffling. Hopefully it makes some sense. So we're just going through this week's games now. So I've got Villa to beat Fulham. Trevor Beamings has got a draw. Jason Cross has got Fulham to beat Villa. So we've all got different opinions there. We've all got different opinions. Now, right, the next one, Everton v Ipswich, right? It's a well-known fact I've got a soft spot for Everton, and they did nothing at all to harm my soft spot this season. Kevin Campbell Day at Everton, you know, it was wonderful. Paying our respects to the big fella, and Everton and Arsenal fans coming together to really, really send a great message about how good that man was, right? So my soft spot for Everton is still there. Ipswich, on the other hand, I used to have a soft spot spit it out, soft spot for, until this season when we played them a couple of weeks ago. And they decided that their bloke had nearly snapped Bukayo Saka in half, that they were going to boo Bukayo Saka for the rest of the game. And I thought it showed a real lack of intelligence and a lack of respect from Ipswich fans. So they're not got a soft spot with me anymore, and I'm glad they've gone down. I know that's a harsh comment, but I am, and I think Everton are going to beat them 3-0 this weekend, and just cement their league position for them. So Jahid Gooner is saying 2-1 for the Toffees. I've gone 3-0 to the Toffees. I don't know what anyone else thinks. Stick it in the comments, and I'll try and get it on the screen. But come on, you Everton. Looking forward to going to their new stadium next year. I'll miss Goodison because it's always a great trip to Goodison, a friendly trip to Goodison. I shall miss it badly, but I'm looking forward to going to the Evertonians' new stadium next season and hopefully seeing Arsenal win there, obviously. So the next one now, right? We say there's games with nothing riding on them, right? No, a nothing game. There couldn't be a bigger example of a nothing game than this, could there? Hey, Leicester v Southampton. Leicester have been awful this second. Is it since, I don't know, is it since Van Nistelrooy took over? They've got even worse? Because they were all right earlier in the season, Leicester. Winning a few, losing a few, drawing a few, mid-table stuff, you know. And then it seems to me that since that Van Nistelrooy blokes joined them, they've gone right down the pan. I don't think, well, you see them and it's embarrassing for them, isn't it? I think that Southampton could really go to Leicester and beat them. I don't know why. You all know me. I'm not a man of statistics. I just look at it and I think, yeah, that'll be this and that'll be that. So I'm trying to put some reasoning to it. But I fancy Southampton to beat Leicester 1-0 this weekend at Leicester. Leicester's fans, that ground will be half empty at Leicester. Leicester's fans won't turn up very much. Van Nistelrooy is thinking I'll be going at the end of this season. Vardy's knocked it on the head. He must be about 107, so about time. And I just think it'll all add up to a Southampton win 1-0. Jason gone 0-0 draw, I can see that. And Jarhead agrees with him, a bore draw. So maybe I'm wrong and you're right. Who knows? Who knows? Listen, right, just got over 210 viewers, right? Thank you very, very much for listening to me. I'm going to try and keep going, right? I didn't realise how hard this was. My good friend Harry Symeou, right? We all know Harry Symeou. If you don't know him, Chronicles of a Gooner podcast. Wonderful fella, Harry. Good mate of mine. He does this every week on his own. I don't know how he does it. I do not know how he does it. Anyway, yeah. Do you know what? Ron's right. Leicester did the double over Tottenham. Say no more. We don't need to say no more on that. So the next one, right, is we'll leave Arsenal. Brentford v Man United. Man United have beaten a rubbish side with 10 men last night, and they think they're the best thing since sliced bread again. The manager's on their telly giving it Billy Big Balls about, you know, this and that. But they didn't beat much last night, Man United, did they? Brentford at home. Hard team to beat, Brentford at home. Wow. Hard team to beat, Brentford. I think that Brentford are going to beat Man U comfortably. I've gone for 2-0 to Brentford to beat Man United. And actually, I hope that's the case. I want to see Brentford beat Man United. I shouldn't say it too loud because all my in-laws, massive family of in-laws, every single one of them is a Man United fan, and they'll get on me back after this. But I'm all right. I've got broad shoulders. I'm all right. I can handle it. Jarhead's gone 3-1 to Brentford. Yeah, I can see that happening as well. Get your comments in, get your scores in, people, please. I really appreciate it because it's helping me out here. It's helping me out, you know. So Brentford to beat Man United. Next one, Brighton Newcastle. I don't really care about either of these teams. We've got Newcastle at home as our last home game of the season, haven't we? Now, are Newcastle going to turn up at the Emirates like they did the two games we played them in the semi-final of the Carabao? Because they were like prime Barcelona then. Or are they going to be like, I see them every other week, right? Not just bang average Newcastle. I hope the bang average Newcastle turn up at the Arsenal. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about Brighton v Newcastle. Trev's gone 4-1 I take it that's 4-1 to Brighton, mate. Newcastle to win 3-1, Trevor says. Jason says 3-2 could go either way. Yeah, actually, really good point, Jason. I suppose it could go either way. I've gone for Brighton to win 1-0. But you're right, yeah, it could go either way. But to be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care who wins that game, you know. I really don't. Right. Now then. Whew, normally I get the others to say this name for me, but I'm going to say it right. West Ham v Spurs, right? West Ham v Spurs. I've seen a post today that there's thousands of West Ham tickets still for sale for this game, West Ham v Tottenham. What is one of West Ham's biggest games of the season? A London derby, albeit a second-rate one. It's a London derby. West Ham and Tottenham have never got on that well, but there's still loads of tickets for sale at the London Stadium for the game. I feel for West Ham fans. I genuinely do. There's one or two of them that do me nutting on social media, but the majority of them are all right, you know, and I really feel for them having to go to that London Stadium for the rest of their lives to watch football, because it's a horrible place to go to watch football, is that London Stadium. There's absolutely nothing about it that is attractive to football. It really isn't. The upper tier must be 100 yards away from the pitch, and that's the near end. So by the time they watch him play at the other end, it must be 200 yards. Maybe a slight exaggeration there, but not much. Not much. So, yeah, Ron, it's absolutely soulless, mate. It's absolutely soulless. I think that the last couple of seasons we've gone there and won really well, the Arsenal. And we've managed to lift a bit of an atmosphere in the away end, but it's difficult to do. It's really difficult to do. I've gone for West Ham to beat Spurs 3-1. That's not because I want West Ham to win, but I never want Tottenham to win. So, you know, Tottenham have got to lose 3-1 to West Ham. There's another team in Tottenham last night, though. They played at home against Bodo, right? I went to Bodo when we played them in the Europa League a few seasons ago. Wonderful town up in the Arctic Circle. Fantastic people. Very expensive. A beer was like £11 a pint. But they were wonderful people, the Bodo people. So when I saw they were playing Tottenham, I really wanted Bodo to do well against them. And trust me, right, Bodo lost 3-1 at Tottenham last night, but that tie is far from over. I've been to Bodo. It's a tiny little compact stadium. The Bodo fans will not stop all night screaming and shouting. It's cold, it's windy, it's rainy, it can snow. It's a horrible, hard plastic pitch. We nicked a 1-0 win there. Saka scored the winner in Bodo. But we were lucky because that pitch was a massive leveler. And someone told me today that Bodo have won all of their European home ties by 2 goals or more this season. So who knows, eh? Who knows? It's not all over. I might have a fiver on Bodo to win the Europa League because they've got to be a good price. They've got to be a good price. But yeah, and then after the game last night, Big Ange, he's on like he's top of the league. He's won a game. It was great. The fans were superb. No mention of the fact that they are very, very close to getting relegated if there'd have been 1 or 2 slightly better teams in the Premier League. But let them have their day. That's far from over. West Ham are going to spank them 3-1, and that'll be the end of it now. We'll be back to plan A with them, and they'll all be moaning, and Postecoglou won't be talking, mate. You know what I mean, mate? So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Now, the next one, right? The next one, Chelsea v Liverpool. Who do you want to win out of them two? I don't want anyone. I don't want any of them to win. I want the game to be called off due to a hurricane blowing Stamford Bridge down. That's what I want. You know, it's I just don't like either of them. I mean, you know, Liverpool at the moment, yeah, they've just won the league. And their fans are absolutely unbearable, them Scousers, aren't they? Oh, my God, right. But we'd be the same if we won the league. I wouldn't sleep for a week. I'd be on social media with a beer in my hand 7 days a week for 24 hours. And, you know, But the one thing that is different is that there has been the odd one or two Scousers, and I'm not tarring them all with this brush, that have been rude and abusive with their comments. And there's no need for that. Enjoy winning the league, Liverpool fans. Enjoy it. I'm going to go up there next week for the away game. And yeah, we'll give them a guard of honour, and so be it. Yeah, we'll win the league in the next year or two, and they'll have to give us a guard of honour. I'm not worried about it in the slightest. Not in the slightest. And good luck to the fans. Enjoy it just as we would. But that don't mean I like you. That don't mean I like you. I couldn't make up my mind with this. I've written down 3 different scores here and crossed them out again. I think Chelsea will beat Liverpool. I think Liverpool might be on a bit of a come down after the big celebrations. And I think that Chelsea are going to beat Liverpool 1-0 for me. I'm going to go 1-0 to Chelsea, but I'm not sure about it. Not sure about it at all. Yeah, Jason's son, we've got to let it. Oh, that's me light breaking. Jason, we've got to let this go, son. We've got to let this VAR thing go. It could be the end of us, you know. It's we all know what it is. We all know what it's like. But excuse me a second while I just shut this light away. That's it. I'm sorry I'm a bit dark now. Let's open that and see what happens. That's a bit better, yeah. We've got to let this VAR thing go, haven't we? Otherwise, we're all going to end up in a mental home, you know. It's going to drive us mad, this PGMOL and the VAR and all that. So, yeah, I don't like to think about it too much. But anyway, Palace v Forest. Palace v Forest. Palace are flying, aren't they? Eh? Forest have just gone out of the cup. Palace are in the cup final. Forest want to try and finish in the top 5. Palace are at home with their fans. The fans at Sellers Park for this game against Forest will be off the scale. I mean, they're good anyway, aren't they? Let's be honest. Palace's fans at home are raucous. They're loud and they have great tifos. Don't mention tifos. They have great, you know, and they just support their club really well. It's well arranged. They've got all but a singing section behind that goal that goes all game. So it don't matter, as I said earlier, it don't matter that if the rest of the ground goes a bit quiet, because them lads behind that goal don't let their side down. Forest, I think they might have burst their bubble, you know, especially after the result last night where Brentford went there and turned them over. I've gone for Palace to beat Forest by 3-1. I have really got Palace to beat Forest 3-1. I think Palace will beat them by a goal or 2. Yeah, Jason, you know, that my light falling off. Fergus has given me the collie wobbles today, right? Without knowing it, he hasn't known it because last time we did this without Fergus, he decided to try and join on his phone, did our Fergus. And not only did he not manage to join, he cut the whole show off, ended the whole show. I was fuming with him. I rang him quick and he's saying to me, I'm trying to get it going. And every word was a swear word. What I called him was no one's business. It was unbelievable. But anyway, that's by the by. I still love him, you know. So Palace beat Forest 3-1. And then we come to our game. Late kick-off tomorrow, isn't it? For Bournemouth. Horrible memories of Bournemouth this year in that we lost the game there, didn't we? We were actually not even in the game from the start of Bournemouth. It was a poor performance from what I remember. I'd had a beer or 7. And Saliba got sent off, didn't he? Saliba got sent off. And it was it's one of the worst sending offs I've ever seen, to be honest. But as is the case, what's his name? Dermot on Sky said it was a sending off. So, yeah, that's it. We all have to believe that. What a load of old poppycock that was. So we lost 2-0 there earlier in the season. But obviously this game now is really important because we want to cement our place in the Champions League next season. You know, I know we're going to win it and get in that way, but it wouldn't hurt to have this as a backup, right? So it's an important game of football for me. What does he do? What does Mikel Arteta do? Thinking about Wednesday night, does he rest players? Does he put his full, strongest possible side out? For me, For me, and this is going to cause some debate, I know, and I'm going to get told I'm an idiot. For me, Arteta needs to rest some key players. Rest some key players. Got to remember that Bukayo Saka's been flying, but he's only like 4 or 5 games back after a long injury. Would having a day off tomorrow help Bukayo? Leandro Trossard, as much as I love the lad and I love his goals and I love his efforts, he's not a centre forward for me. He's not through the middle player for me, and I think that showed against PSG. So if he plays, he moves out wide. What about Thomas Partey? He's not played now for a week because of his suspension in Europe. The idiot! I can't believe he got booked against Madrid. Do we start him from the start tomorrow, or do we say nope? Nope, you're not coming in, Thomas, because at the end of the day, the difference, I think, between us winning and losing at home was down to 2 things. And I genuinely believe this. I think we missed Thomas Partey because not only do you get an amazing player in Thomas Partey, it helps Rice. Rice looks a different player as well. So you're improving in 2 areas. And if Partey's back in, we can move Marino up the field. And I honestly, I've got nothing but praise and admiration for Marino, the way that he's gone in there and done a job for us. Amazing. So there's loads of different ways to look at it. Who do we play? Who do we rest? I think we should rest players. I think that we should probably start Nwaneri. Although I would like to see Nwaneri get more minutes against PSG this week, right? And then with the big one at the moment, right? The big one that everybody's talking about is Odegaard's form, right? What's happened to Martin Odegaard? If only we had the answer, right? I feel sorry for every Arsenal player because I love every Arsenal player, whether they're good or bad. But I don't know what's happened with Martin. You can see him putting his efforts around the field are still right up there, Martin Odegaard. He really is putting the efforts in. You can see him running himself into the ground as he has all season, you know. But he's not penetrating defences and he's not scoring the goals. And we need the player in that position in our team, whoever it may be, to be scoring goals, to be chipping in the goals. And it does worry me because I think that Martin Odegaard is an amazing football player. But we do have to be honest and say he's not been doing it. Is it time that I saw one on social media this week, and it made me think, is it time that we just said to Martin Odegaard, go home now, rest for the rest of the season, whatever that virus was, whatever that injury was, go and take 3 or 4 months off and get it out of your system. I don't want Martin Odegaard to do that, but thinking of the best for the Arsenal Football Club, does he need that rest now? And would a Nwaneri coming into play in the Odegaard's position? And I'm not saying Odegaard needs to be dropped. I'm just looking at different scenarios, you know. Would Nwaneri maybe coming in and playing in his right position where Odegaard plays now? Would that give us the lift? Would that give us the lift that we need to go on and win games that recently we've been drawing or losing? Who knows? Who knows? So for me, I don't care who Arteta puts out, but because I love Arteta and he's always got my support. But I do think that we should look at resting some players. Odegaard in my head, Rice in my head, Saka in my head. Saka had a big kick at Ipswich. It's only been back a few weeks. I know Saka will be desperate to play, but Wednesday's key. So who knows? The other one, the last one I want to talk about, player about in the Arsenal game, right, is Raheem Sterling, right? When we played Bournemouth earlier in the season, right towards the start of the season, Sterling started the game and he was substituted after 36 minutes. And so that in those early days, that sort of showed us that Arteta was thinking he might struggle. And to be honest, he has struggled, hasn't he? I don't think he deserves some of the abuse he's been getting from Arsenal fans. Yeah, we can also bloody hell, Sterling, that was rubbish. Bloody hell, Sterling, you could do better. But taking it further than that and calling him all sorts of four-letter words, I don't know. For me, it's not on. For me, I don't do that. I'm starting to take myself to a different level that I would never ever go to. Yeah. So if I just hope Sterling leaves the club at the end of this season, he must have come to us right, desperate to prove himself, being drummed out by Chelsea, being told by Chelsea, we don't want you. Sterling must have come to Arsenal thinking, I really need to prove a point here. And he hasn't. And I just don't think he's been good enough. And maybe players, it often happens to players over the years, doesn't it? They get to a certain stage of their career. It happens to some players younger than other players. And they just lose their form a bit and they're just not the player they were. And hopefully Sterling can go elsewhere next season and be all right. But I have my doubts, to be honest. So all the best to Raheem Sterling. I just wanted to get that in there. So Bournemouth v Arsenal v Bournemouth. I think that it's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a 1-0 or a 2-1 to the Arsenal, right? But I'll take that because it's really, really important when we look at this table at the end of the season. It's all sort of closing up a bit behind us. Brentford did us a favour last night, didn't they? So I reckon we need 2 wins out of the last 4 to cement our place in second or even maybe third in the table. To be honest, it doesn't bother me where we finish as long as we're in that top 4. I know that's different. So I think hopefully we'll beat Bournemouth tomorrow. Newcastle at home, we should win. Then we've got Southampton away last game of the season, and I can't see why we wouldn't win that. So the only one that worries me is Liverpool away. And we'll see what happens there. Liverpool would have already won it. Liverpool fans will be given a stick. We'll clap the Liverpool players onto the field. The Arsenal players will. And then we'll watch the game of football and we'll scream and shout for the Arsenal like we all do, like we do every away game. So, yeah, I've gone for 2-1. I've gone 2-1 to the Arsenal tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow night, isn't it? Late kickoff. So, right. God, 325 of you watching, right? I'm getting a bit of a sore throat now. I've done this now. We're 37 minutes in. I don't think I'm going to make the hour, people. I do apologise for that. But, they've left me on my own. I've been deserted. If you want to get onto their backs on social media, that Dan Gunning, Alex, Dale, Andrew and Ferg, get on their backs and tell them they should have been here to support me. But, no, I don't mind. So just before I go, right, I've got to look. We're gonna on Monday. We'll obviously look at Wednesday's game in depth, but I've got to look ahead to it. Someone put in the comments earlier on. I can't scroll back now, but someone put in the comments on this weekend's game is so hard when you've got Wednesday on your mind, right? And that sums it up for me. That really, really sums it up for me. I can't get it out of my head, especially not now. I've been lucky enough to get a ticket. I'm forever grateful for that. PSG, they've got a habit of losing home legs, so that gives me a little bit of hope. I honestly think that they can't play that well again. They were superb against us for the first half an hour, blew us away. And I honestly think that we will be better. It's interesting, Christopher, I'm just reading this now. Concerned by our recent and current form in semi-finals under Mikel, not scored in our last 6. Do you know what? I didn't know that fact. So, yeah, it's not a good one, is it? It's not a good one. What worries me more, Chris, is that Arsenal always seem to find a way of shooting ourselves in the foot in European competition, right? We've only, in all our history, we've won 2 European competitions. Nowhere near enough for a team of our class and caliber. Nowhere near. So I was hoping that this would be the time when we would change it under Mikel Arteta. We'd get to the semi-final and we'd play really well. First half, we haven't played very well. First half, we've just not held our own, gone 1-0 down, right? And now I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to be all right there, though. We're going to be all right there. But also in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I thought the same when Newcastle came and beat us 2-0 at the Emirates in the semi-final of the Carabao. I thought we'd go up to Newcastle and be all right, you know. So if I'm honest, my head's a shed. I'm in a proper mess with it. I honestly do not know whether I'm coming or going with it. You know, 1 minute I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, we'll be all right on Wednesday. Next minute I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, you know, hopefully we can hold our own. So who knows? Who knows what will happen? You know, sure, Donnarumma, right? Has anyone ever rated? Has anyone ever rated Donnarumma? Because I haven't. I've seen him play for quite a few games, and I've always thought that big lump ain't any good. He ain't a lot, and yet there he was on the other night, turning into prime Pat Jennings, saved everything. Oh no, my God, no, 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 no! Get out of here! If you cut me off, Fergus, you are in massive, massive trouble. Look, oh, he's frozen now. Look at the chins on him. More chins than a Chinese phone book. Look, oh, here he is. Here he is. If
I
you
can
cut
hear
me
you.
off, you're in massive trouble. Listen, Ferg, good to see you, mate. You all right? Oh,
Yeah,
you're at
good,
the
mate.
pub,
Just
aren't you?
we finished all the prep. Yeah, we are at the pub. Finish all the prep. Had a couple of beers, and we're going to get a takeaway. Big day tomorrow.
Big day tomorrow. We've talked about that. Got to win that to get us to start cementing his league position. But we've had to talk about Wednesday a little bit coming up, right? Because it's in everybody's head, Ferg. It's in everybody's head. So I'll just ask you a couple of questions then, Ferg, that we've already sort of talked about. Can we win it on Wednesday?
Yes, it's down
Good.
to
Wait, wait,
attitude.
wait, 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 wait. How do we win it, Ferg? That's what I'm following up with, mate. Before you say too much, now go, mate. Now go.
Well, it's down to attitude. It's down to support of the fans, and a key person that we need is Thomas Partey. I think we really missed him in that first leg.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about that. Thomas Partey. Not only does Thomas Partey give us a world class player back in our team, that he lifts Rice because he gives Rice license to do more. Yeah. And
Yep.
it also, as much as I love Trossard, it releases Marino back into the more forward position, which I think he's done fantastic for us. He
Well,
really, really has done
the,
fantastic
the
for us.
Rice comment you made is very, very important because Rice, whilst he was asked to play that number six that he did play for West Ham and replace the party role, be given the freedom that he was given under Arteta, um, he couldn't help himself but try and get involved a little bit more and move left and right and forward, and he done well. But when you need that holding central midfielder, um, he just he can't be a number six for us. I don't think he has to be a number eight.
Yeah. Well, he can play anywhere for me. I'd kiss his boots, Rice. I think he's that good. And the other thing we mentioned, Ferg, which is really interesting, which is touchy, really, because you don't like talking about someone who is clearly one of our best players like this. Is it time Odegaard had a rest and got over whatever's been hindering him? Because he's been really struggling. And I think more than I've seen some people giving a bit of stick on social media, but you forget that there's idiots everywhere. But I honestly think that a lot of people are starting to have some kind of sympathy and concern, genuine concern for Martin Odegaard now, because we all know how good he is, but he's not quite at his level, is he, mate?
He hasn't been all season, mate. To be honest, there's a few factors. I think he got injured, which we know. He then got an illness, and then his wife had a baby, and there's lack of sleep and stuff, as we all know when we've had kids when we're younger. But also the lack of continuity with the players he's been playing with. He didn't have Ben White, he didn't have Saka, and yeah, I remember waxing lyrical about the times at Villa Park. In the Doug Ellis upper and watching the way the triangles work between those three players was just unreal. And I think that's a huge factor that he's not on top form, but also he hasn't had the players around him on top form. consistently the whole way through. People are slagging him
Yeah.
off left, right, and centre, and I think that's really, really out of order. I,
Do
I,
you know
I,
what? I don't think they are slagging him off. You got the odd one or two that happens anywhere. I honestly think, and I'd like to think, and I hope, but it is my view, that people are showing genuine concern for Martin Odegaard and thinking maybe he's not well, mate.
um, the reason that I hadn't put that into my head, I thought he just wasn't loving it, feeling it. It wasn't working for him, and his head wasn't in the game. I don't know, but maybe do you release him off the captain's armband and give it as Declan Rice?
If you, if your head's not in the game, if your head's not in the game, you don't put in the effort levels he's putting in. I bet if we looked at the stats, 99% of games, Odegaard covers the most amount of ground. I mean, he's trying his
Mm.
head off. I'm not going to
His,
name them because that starts off
he,
a whole new debate, right? But we've had
Trev,
players.
his work rate is not in question. His work rate is
Yeah,
fantastic. We've seen that in every game, and
yeah,
people don't get that on TV. They can't see what he's doing. They just see the finishing article and stuff like that. Tuesday, I was absolutely trolleyed. So my recollection of that is limited to say the least. But his work rate in games prior to that had been unreal. He just
yeah.
hasn't had those moments he can create and score the goals that he needs to score. Like, what was he scoring before? 14, 15 goals a season?
So if the effort levels are still there, then it's something different. It's not lack of effort. So as I was going to
His,
say, right, as I was going to say, in the recent past and then distant past, we've had players at Arsenal that don't that have given up playing, stop doing it for us. But you can see their effort levels drop. You can see by their body demeanor and their actions and the way they lope about and the way they go straight off the field after the game and don't appreciate the fans. You can see that they've lost interest. But Martin Odegaard is the opposite to every one of those points. I have nothing but
no,
respect.
he's the last man to leave the pitch every game, home and away. He comes to the fans home and away every time, applauds every one of us, and thanks us all for it. So it's.
Yeah. If
I think it's the lack of interaction with the key personnel he needs to make it work for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that, and I just
Have you done all your
whatever
predictions then?
whatever it is they find out. We've done all the predictions. We've just gone to 350 viewers, Ferg.
I
The
know, it's
bad
amazing.
news. The bad news for you is before you came on, it was 450. So you know,
Hey, look at that! What a beautiful countryside! Look at that setting behind us! Isn't it lovely?
yeah, Costa del Loughton. Can't wait to go there and get me budgie smugglers on. Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, mate. We've been going for nearly 50 minutes now. My voice is about to pack in. I've never spoke so much in my life. Normally, you're
Oh
doing
yes, you
all.
have.
So, I don't know if there's anything you want to say, but to save these people
The,
from any more of us, I'm going to
the one
play.
thing I'd like to say is
Oh,
I'd like to thank you for taking over tonight and hosting it on your own. And my daughter is getting married tomorrow, so we've been doing a lot of preparation, and we're at the venue now and having a couple of pre-wedding drinks and so on. And we're going to go home and have some food. But thank you very much for stepping in the breach, mate. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And anybody who's at the game tomorrow, unfortunately, I can't be for the obvious reason. Make sure you sing up and be loud. The season might be over, but we love the Arsenal.
yeah, absolutely. And just to finish off with Martin, and this will be the last comment I put on it with Odegaard, because I don't want it to appear that we're getting on his back, because nothing could be further from the truth. I love the man dearly. I'd give my right hand little finger to see him come back to form this weekend. But yeah, it is the end result, Trevor, that's the problem. It really is the end result, mate, that's the problem. Ferg, hey, I'm going to press the button. Are you stopping with us for it?
Yeah, for 2 minutes, mate, because the beer's filling up.
We're going. Right, Ferg, listen, there's 360 viewers watching us live right now, right? I'm truly humbled by all these people just coming on to listen to me waffle. Hello, mate, you all right?
My future son-in-law, Martin.
Oh, he's better looking than
Tomorrow,
you, Ferg, that's for sure.
he is.
Oh.
Go on.
Mate, listen, we are there's 360 people watching. I'm truly humbled that that all these people are listening to just me waffle on. People, if you think it's been great, just me, please let me know and let Fergus know. If you think it's been crap with me on my own, tell Fergus it's all his fault, right? So at the end of the day, let's just all blame Fergus, yeah? If you can find the time to go across to our YouTube channel and like us or subscribe to us, we don't make any money out of it, but it does give us a chance to do some different things. Like I can now get access to all this stuff instead of just Fergus, and I can waffle on my own like I have tonight. So thank you all very, very much indeed. Fergus, I hope the day goes brilliantly for you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, yeah?
I will do, mate.
I'm
Do you
going
want to
to
kick
say,
me out? Do you want to kick me
well,
out? Well, you finish it. Yeah, go on.
I want to kick you out. See you later, Ferg. Bye, mate. Oh, he's gone. Look, he's a lovely lad, isn't he? But he needs to go away and enjoy his evening. I'm just going to say goodbye. Thank you. I hope I haven't bored you too much waffling along on my own. Up the Arsenal. Let's beat Bournemouth. Let's go to PSG and do a job. And then I'll be forever until the end of May boring you talking about the Champions League final, hopefully. Thank you very much again. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.